Good morning, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm, and we are in March. This is March mud month, and we are getting the rain and the mud, but we are staying ahead of it. And Ben, what are you doing right there?
I'm trying not to get shocked.
Trying not to get shocked.
We're just putting a predator wire over the line for the water tank. I'm gonna need an extra post.
So what's
the line for the water tank to prevent them from stepping on that wire, and also from pushing and shoving when they're around that small tank. Especially now with that ground being so soft, those posts, even though they're driven in the ground pretty far, like they could still knock them over. So this just makes sure that they know there's something hot over there, and they won't really mess around when they go to get a drink.
You don't have much water there, Ben. There's 304 head in here. What are you thinking?
It's only 50 gallons.
It's only 50 gallons.
But it's got pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got good pressure.
That's coming off the rural water, and it's probably around 60 psi. So that's the same water that we're drinking at our house. But we are on stockpile this morning. This is Kentucky 31 mixed with red clover. It's got some orchard grass in it, and it's going to show you our new hoses that we made. This is actually Jan. I had her go to a hydraulic hose shop, and they make these hoses. Those are brass fittings on there, and that is one heck of a hose. That's a 200 psi rubber hose. You only need a 6-footer. The 6-footers are then screwed onto a 50-foot. This is one of those super flexible yellow hoses you buy at Menards.
Flexzilla is the name of it.
Flexzilla?
Yep. Like Godzilla, but Flexzilla.
Well, I've never seen a hose so flexible. In cold weather, that thing is still flexible.
It never kinks.
Yeah, it never kinks, which I love that. And it's plugged in over there. That's the quick coupler that's buried down in the ground. So that's our water supply today. They were on our skirt, our rock skirt yesterday, and now we're moving forward, and they're going to be right here on this little tank. And so we've got two more moves, and we'll be back on another rock skirt on another pond up here. So looking forward to that. But the cows are just really doing well on what we've got here. This is, what did you all say? When was the last time we were in here?
November.
Yeah, sometime
Before deer season.
Yeah,
actually.
like beginning of the dormant season.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like we took very much.
No, we just tipped it when it came through. We gave them a big area and moved them quick.
So why did we just tip it in November?
So that here in March we still got this kind of forage. It's
So,
safe-
but we
saves your
left it.
bacon when there's so much.
You think we didn't waste any then by leaving it?
No. Not when you can have it this time of year.
What, Ben? Why'd you put those rubber mats down around that tank?
We're gonna try to prevent them from mudding it as much as we can, but I mean, they're gonna mud it a little bit. There's no two ways about it, just because it's so wet. But that'll definitely keep their feet out of the mud while they're taking a drink.
Where'd you get those at?
They're sidewalls from an earth-moving tire from those tire tanks
Okay.
that we set up.
Their front feet will stand right here as they're drinking.
Yep.
So we kind of try to space it so that we hit, the majority of them.
Yep. If you can keep those front feet from punching through there, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. We'll
There's a lot of weight on the front feet.
We're probably gonna have to move the tank tonight, or maybe definitely tomorrow, if not tonight, because it's wet. But
Yeah.
it definitely is gonna help for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's just been raining just about every day now, and we're going to get some more tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday. Today we're gonna luck out, I think, with a little bit of no rain, but the next 2 days we're supposed to get some good rain. So
Why did you all drive those fiberglass posts around that tank?
Since it's such a small tank, let's say they drink, so you've got 10 cows drinking on this tank, and they drink it down, to the ground, that hydrant isn't, or that pressure isn't able to keep up with them. when there's no water in the tank, they get all antsy and they start pushing, and they'll flip that tank, and then you just got running water. You got a $100 water bill. So
Because it runs all day?
Yeah, because it runs all day. So this
That's a soupy pond, I bet.
It's a mess. When you've got this much water already, you don't want
Yeah.
a day's worth of pressurized water running on the ground.
Yeah.
That's why we always, when we hook it up, we always check, make sure that we've got the level right, and we watch the thing fill all the way to the top, because sometimes you can't tell when it's set like this if something's off angle or whatever, and it won't stop it, and then you're like, oh, it's good, and then you leave and you come back and
it's not good.
It's not good. And we always check the connection here, and that one's full of water right now, but all the connections to make sure they're not leaking.
So if you have a loose connection, it's just going to sit there and run all day.
Yep. Because the only thing stopping the flow is that float.
Yep.
Pulling up on the valve. So
it's what kind of float you got in there, Ben? Or valve? What is that?
It's a Job Megaflow valve.
Okay.
For pressurized water, that's what you want to use.
That's a Cadillac, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not cheap. They're like, I don't know what they are now, like $49. But you know, when you can regulate your water, I started out using. I see a lot of people. You see these clips and stuff, and they've got those little clip-on dealies that go right here. Man, that is a wreck waiting to happen on a pressurized system, because those cows can rip that off of there, and it's got a little tiny hole in it, so it doesn't have any recharge. So that one's full.
That's full flow.
Full flow. When they drink it, it comes out full.
You can hear it when you turn it on. When they drink it.
I'll see if you.
Did you hear that? That's it shutting off.
Yep.
So as soon as that water drops,
yep,
you've got pressure.
So the beauty of a small tank with a large herd is that one tank. Let's get back and let them drink.
Guys come to drink.
They with a little tank like that, you can dump that water out. It's not like dumping out 100 gallons. You can just dump that thing out.
Don't touch it.
Watch that.
He's the one that got shocked the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get it again.
He is lucky.
Woo! He was close.
Yesterday we saw that dude lick the
fence.
Lick the fence.
It sounded like a 22 rifle going on, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't learned yet, I guess.
The cattle this morning, they're just going around this paddock. We just moved them in here about 10 minutes ago. And when they find a little green, they really go after it. And then the dry stuff, you can see the dry matter hanging out of that heifer's mouth. So she's getting some of that too. But folks, this is wet. I mean, there's puddles out here. Again, we are very fortunate to have, the 1,000-pound cows out here. But if you had any place else to put these cows this morning, you'd have mud. There's a nice steer. There would be mud, just solid baked mud on these animals. And we actually did a drive yesterday. We went down and did a consulting job in South Missouri, and it's just been raining, and they've been hammered down there worse than we have. And everywhere we went by that had livestock, it was mud, and the cattle were covered in mud. But a lot of them are those bigger type animals, and they just tear up the ground. That's what they do. They're big animals. It's no fault of their own, other than they're just big, and they're not being moved. If we didn't move these animals we're moving them twice a day. If we didn't move these, they'd be covered in mud too. So by giving them stockpile in the morning, coming back on the same paddock tonight and unrolling hay on it, we've been able to stretch out our winter stockpile, and we've still got most of Judy Farm here to go all the way through, and then across the road onto some more of the Judy Farm, and then that's it. So we're gonna make it. I mean, this is March 14th. We've got about 16 more days. We get to April, we're gonna be pretty good shape. It seems like everything's getting greener sooner this spring. We've had a pretty nice spring, actually. I mean, the weather's been pretty nice. other than that minus 25 below thing we had back in February, which that's not spring, by the way, that's winter. But it's been pretty nice ever since, and that's why I love Missouri. We can get some cold weather, but typically it's not a long, drawn-out event, and the animals just kind of cruise right through it, and because they've got good body condition on them. But folks, this is where the money's being saved. If you want to make a living on the land, you've got to get the right size cow. You've got to have something that they can graze, that grows out of the ground naturally without you having to plant it every year or go to town and buy seed, fire up the tractor, drill it, whatever. You need perennial pastures. And perennial pasture means it grows every year without being planted. It comes back every year. And it'll come back thicker, lusher, richer, more nutrient dense. With the more animal impact that you can put on the land, the more manure, the more urine, and move. Don't leave them. People say, but Greg, why don't you just move them, every couple of days? That would be just good enough. No, it would not be just good enough. Don't do that. Move them. Move them. You don't think it's an accident these cattle look like this. It's because of management. They're being moved. And animals will perform, and they'll make you a good living if you take care of them well. Don't get into the livestock business if you're not going to move your animals. They need to be rotated. They're just like anything else. They don't need to be stuck in one spot and never rotated, because you're inviting in all kinds of nasties, disease, parasites. You're going to graze your farm off real short, and then the animals are going to be thin. Your pasture's going to be thin, and your pocketbook's going to be thin. It's just it's what I would call a death spiral. You're not going to be doing very well on the farm. I love this scene. I mean, my gosh. It's wet out here, and these animals are feeding themselves, and they're not tearing our farm up. So, March Mud Month. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're going to get challenged even more because we got a big rain coming Wednesday and Thursday, and this ground's saturated, so we're going to see. But as long as we've got fescue and we move them, I think we'll be just fine. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Those of y'all new to that channel, our channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out. And if you want to get a note every time we post a new video, hit that bell right there next to the subscribe button. And you'll get one of these emails dropped in your inbox when I post the next video. Y'all have a great day. Take care now.